Ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to join you, even if only in this disembodied form, as you launch the first West Islamic Dialogue annual report. I'm only so sorry not to be with you, but I do hope you will forgive my absence. But I am particularly pleased to have this opportunity to say how flattered and honored I was to receive the Crystal Award for Outstanding Leadership in Interfaith Cooperation.
Your Royal Highness, it's a great pleasure and honor for us to be here today to recognize in this very special way the unique contribution that you, Prince Charles, have made in the field of improving relations between Islam and the West.
Together, actually, over the last few years, I think Prince Turki will say, we've seen this unique engagement, deepening dialogue, creating friendships. And really it's in recognition of your very remarkable work over many years now. I personally, as Archbishop, formerly Archbishop of Canterbury, saw this firsthand. We wanted, from this business-driven initiative, to say thank you for all that you've done in the past and will continue to do in the future.
And just a few days ago, the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Abdullah, addressed the following remarks to Dr. Klaus Schwab in Riyadh, and I quote, "If different communities and cultures would turn to their great principles taught by their religions, then they would find many things that bring them closer, keep them away from conflicts, and improve their human qualities." Such common views between Your Royal Highness and the custodians of the two holy mosques are a boon to the rest of us who look upon you as a role model.
Now, I hasten to say that I do know how important the annual meeting of the World Economic Forum is as an occasion to bring together so many eminent people to discuss the pressing political and business issues of our time. And therefore I greatly admire Professor Schwab's, Lord Carey's and Princess Lolwa's initiative to ensure that the vital issue of regular and constructive dialogue between the West and the Islamic world is high on the agenda. I suspect that few of the subjects you will discuss could be more important, apart perhaps from the ever more urgent challenge of dealing with the threat of climate change. Muslims and Christians make up over half the world's population, and without understanding and harmony between them, there can be no lasting peace in the world. I said as long ago as 1993, on a visit to the Oxford Centre for Islamic Studies, of which I am patron, that I believe wholeheartedly that the links between these two worlds matter more today than ever before, because the degree of misunderstanding between the Islamic and Western worlds remains dangerously high, and because the need for the two to live and work together in our increasingly interdependent world has never been greater. Now, my view has not changed during the past 15 years or so. However, I remain convinced that the challenges can be overcome, and I reject any suggestion that there is some inevitable and unavoidable clash of civilizations. I was, for example, most encouraged by the recent open letter and call from Muslim religious leaders. It made the point with great clarity, I think, that the basis for mutual peace and harmony already exists in the founding principles that are shared by the great Abrahamic faiths of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. This comes not only from the unity of the love of one God, but also from the common injunction to love your neighbor. The Bible says, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. And the Quran, none of you has faith until you love for your neighbor what you love for yourself. As the great poet Rumi said, whose 800th anniversary we celebrate this year, the lamps are different, but the light is the same. And it is not, of course, just the great Abrahamic faiths that give us a shared sense of stewardship and justice. Whatever our particular faith or worldview, we all share so many common values: compassion and tolerance, commitment to truth and the sanctity of human life, respect for family and community, and belief in justice and the desirability of peace. And I believe deeply that there is far, far more that unites than divides all people of goodwill. I also believe deeply that what should unite us above all is the crucial battle to preserve a fully functioning planet to pass on to our successors, rather than battling against each other. Surely our shared values of stewardship of God's now threatened creation should be enough to heal the damaging rifts between us. Yet, the challenge to overcome misunderstanding and intolerance is real and pressing, embracing as it does every level of our societies and reaching across generations. It will need hard, practical work on a scale commensurate to the challenge to resolve the issues. All those attending the World Economic Forum, politicians, faith leaders, and businessmen and women, have the capacity to shape the world. And I very much hope, based on the insight and encouragement which discussion of the West Islamic Dialogue's first annual report will provide, that you will be inspired and determined to take the practical steps which are needed to promote greater harmony and understanding. It is important, of course, to remember that we are not all the same, but we share within our traditions a sense of universal truth and divine revelation, a timeless wisdom which can enable us to contemplate our place within creation and also to draw us together in order to bridge the chasms of extremism in all its forms. Such bridges need to be built on a rediscovery of the symbolic heart which lies at the center of our traditions, so that we can transcend the diabolic influences that so fracture our attempts at healing. As I said earlier, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted and honored to have been given the Crystal Award for Outstanding Leadership in Interfaith Cooperation, and I wish you all every possible success in developing and enhancing regular and constructive dialogue between the West and the Islamic world.